वेलकम टू माय चैनल स्पाइडी व्लॉग्स। इस वीडियो में बात करने वाले हैं कैप इंटरव्यू एक्सपीरियंस के बारे में, जो कि हमारे साथ शेयर करेंगे सूर्य। तो इस वीडियो में हम जानेंगे उनकी प्रोफाइल के बारे में, फिर हम बात करेंगे इनके पास वर्क एक्स है या गैप ईयर है, देन हम मूव करेंगे इनके पीआई के एक्सपीरियंस के बारे में कि इनसे क्या क्या क्वेश्चंस पूछे गए डी डे के दिन में। तो हेलो सूर्य, आप हमें सबसे पहले अपनी प्रोफाइल के बारे में बताइए, आपकी प्रोफाइल क्या है।
So first of all, thanks Reyans for having me here. So my profile is basically 698 profile. I have done my graduation in finance and accounting, and I have completed my graduation in the year 2022, and I'm a fresher.
तो दैट मीन्स कि 24 में जब आप ज्वाइन करेंगे तो आपके पास 2 ईयर का गैप ईयर हो जाएगा काउंट।
Yes, yes.
ठीक है। और ये जब आपका कैप इंटरव्यू शेड्यूल हुआ था सूर्य, ये किस डेट को हुआ था एंड टाइमिंग क्या थी आपकी।
It was in 29th of February, and reporting timing was 1:15.
1:15, तो 1:15 पे आपने जब ज्वाइन किया कितनी देर आपको वेट करना पड़ा आपके प्रोसेस के लिए।
At around 1 hour and 30 minutes.
1 आवर 30। और ये पूरा मोड जो था ऑनलाइन मोड था ऑफलाइन मोड था।
It was in online mode.
ओके। और डी डे के दिन में पीआई के अलावा और भी कोई प्रोसेस था या सिर्फ पीआई शेड्यूल था आपके लिए।
No, only PI.
ठीक है। तो जब आपने ज्वाइन किया आपका नंबर आया पीआई के लिए, तो आपके सामने कितने पैनलिस्ट थे एंड आपके लिए क्या क्या क्वेश्चंस थे उनके।
Okay, so there are two panelists, one in their 50s and one in their 40s. Both are male panelists.
ठीक।
So basically, they started whether I have taken my lunch or not. This is how they started.
ओके।
Then they asked me that, tell me something about yourself. Then I just gave the prepared answer. Then they asked me that, what are the favorite subjects from your graduation? So I mentioned two of my favorite subjects. Then they asked that, in my tell me about yourself, I have highlighted a few points regarding my national level participation. So they basically asked that, from that you have mentioned that you are a national levels football player. So tell me something about the attacking and defensive formations that are there in football. So I have mentioned two of them. Then they asked me the advantages and disadvantages of that formations. So this is how they went. Then they asked, when you see India in the football World Cup and how, what are the reasons? So I basically said and year that after this point of time, I think they are able. Then they asked how you think that India will be able to go to that position. What are the scope of improvements are there? So this is how they understood the answers and satisfied. There are no cross questions from this. Then asked what are the 4 P's of marketing. Then I answered. Then again cross question that, okay, tell me about the other 3 P's. Then I answered. Then asked that what is STP. So I answered. Then they said that, okay, in STP there is the last P refers to the positioning part, right? So I said yes. Then they asked that, how positioning works. Describe that with an example. So I basically described with an example of Apple and how they created an urgency, all that. So then they asked that how Apple is basically creating an urgency. Why there is an urgency among the customers to buy an iPhone or any Apple gadgets. So I again said with an answer that how they create an urgency, the elite group and all. So then they started asking that, as you have mentioned that the telecom industry and all in your answers, then they asked that, what about the Vodafone and Airtel merger? So do you know the actual reasons of this merge? So I said that how they merge and all. So then they asked that, is there any tax regulations from the government side? This is why they have merged, or any other reason that you know. So I was not aware of the reason. So I just said that no, sir, I am not aware of the reason. Then they asked that Vodafone is bearing loss for such a long time due to Geo. And don't you think that Vodafone should reduce the sponsorship amount? Or what are your views on the sponsorship of Vodafone in big sports events? As you also mentioned sports as of your hobby. So what about the sports event sponsorship from Vodafone? Do you think this is justified as they are incurring loss in last few quarters? So I said that my view is this. Then he was satisfied. And then one question asked that, about the Vodafone Airtel merger, that do you know the founder and CEO director of Airtel. So I said that yes, I know. And then they shifted towards the panel two, and
Okay.
the panel two started like asking me that from how much long you were preparing for your interviews. So I said that I am preparing for last 1 month and all. So then they started like any credit agencies that I know about the market. Is there any credit agency that I know? So I mentioned a few names. Then he asked that what is macro and microeconomics. As I already mentioned, economics one of my favorite subjects. Though they asked that, then I have answered that also. And then asked you have mentioned your hobbies like sports and singing. So tell me who won the last World Cup. So I said, and then answered after answering that, they asked me that who are the golden ball and golden boot winners in that World Cup, and also further asked that what are the score lines of the full match, and then what are the score lines in the tiebreaker, who scored the goals. These are basic questions from sports. So basically, my interview was revolving around my national level sports participation and football and all. There are very few questions from my academics, right? So then asked, okay, we are done with a lot of football discussion. You have an interesting profile and all that. Then asked that, do you read newspaper on a daily basis? So I said yes, I do. Then asked, okay, any recent financial news or any news that you have gone through during that phase? Can you mention a few names? So basically, I was prepared with the RBI Paytm and all issues are prepared. So I just said that yes, I know about the RBI Paytm issue. Bullshit. So then they asked that what are the situations. This is why RBI has imposed some regulations and all. So I said the regulations. There are few reasons: lack of verification, data leak, privacy. These are the issues mainly I have described. Then asked, okay, so do you know who is the current Chief Justice of India? So in that precious moment, I was not able to recall the name. So I said, sir, at this point of time, I'm not able to recall. Then they said, okay, fine, no problem. Then asked me that you have mentioned RBI in your answers, right? I said yes. Then as three former RBI governors. You can also add up the current governor name in the list. I said the current governor name, and I was only able to, recall Raghuram Rajan as of my answer, the second one, and I am not able to recollect the third one. So I said that, sir, I am not able to recollect the third name. So they are happy with all of my answers. They are nodding like when I was describing basically the football part, the how India should able to play in the World Cup. So they are very satisfied with the answers. They are just nodding, yes, okay, fine. You have deep understanding, like they said in between and laughing. And lastly, they just said, okay, we are done with the process. Okay, I'm very much satisfied with your views on the football and all. Okay, you may leave now. This is how the interview process end.
ओके, सो सूर्या, एज यू मेंशन कि आपका जो वो था पूरा ग्रेजुएशन, इट वाज ऑल अबाउट फाइनेंस एंड अकाउंटिंग, एंड आपकी स्पेशलाइजेशन जो आपने चूज, जो वहाँ पर अपनी चॉइस बताई, वो था मार्केटिंग। तो
Yes.
उन्होंने कुछ ऐसा आपसे पूछा कि भाई यू वांट टू स्विच इन द मार्केटिंग इंस्टेड
No,
ऑफ
no, no.
सिलेक्टिंग फाइनेंस?
They didn't ask me anything regarding this, that why you want to switch. Okay.
ओके, ठीक है। और ये प्रोसेस जो पूरा था, ये आपका कितनी देर चला था?
I think it was around 15 to 17 minutes.
ठीक है। एंड इस प्रोसेस के ओवर होने के बाद फिर कुछ और भी था आगे प्रोसेस में, फीडबैक का कुछ
न-
मैकेनिज्म, या फिर बस आपको यहीं एग्जिट करना था?
नहीं, यहीं एग्जिट करना था बस.
ओके, चलिए सूर्य, काफी अच्छा लगा आपसे बात करके, आपका इंटरव्यू एक्सपीरियंस जान के। आई होप ये वीडियो और लोगों के भी काम आए। एंड गाइज, आप भी अपना इंटरव्यू एक्सपीरियंस हमारे साथ शेयर कर सकते हैं, आप मुझे डीएम कर सकते हैं इंस्टा या लिंक्डइन पे। बाकी ऐसी और इन्फॉर्मेटिव वीडियोज के लिए गाइज हमारे चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कर लीजिए। वीडियो अगर अच्छी लगे तो लाइक एंड शेयर कीजिए।